Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel, A Little Bit of Everything with Erin. Today is Makeup Monday. Today we will be using my Conspiracy palette. I was able to order it on Jeffree Star Cosmetics. With the whole debacle of the site blowing up, I was able to snag one. My husband actually got it for me. He spent 4.5 hours on the website until he could get me everything. I ended up with a pig side bag, the large Conspiracy palette, the mini Controversy palette, the lip kit, which still has not arrived yet, and the lip gloss, which also still has not arrived yet. But I got the 2 palettes, so that's the most important. I went ahead and did a quick and easy look for you here today. I did want to point out that I saw a lot of people online saying they thought the formula was different than Jeffree's past releases. I don't believe so. My thoughts are a lot of these are pressed pigments, and if you've ever used a Jeffree Star Cosmetics formula previous palette, you will know that the ones that are really deep in color for a pressed pigment, they are a little harder in the pan, and you do have to kind of work it. The one mainly here I'm talking about is Not a Fact. There is a similar shade in Blood Sugar that is very hard like Not a Fact, and you kind of have to work it, but it is a good shade that you can use. And with the pressed pigments, I do suggest packing the color and then blending. That way you get a good amount of pigment and payoff from each. Same thing with food videos. Because of how a yellow shade is, you aren't going to be able to just pick it up on the brush and blend it out and have that vibrant neon yellow color. Neon colors are very difficult. You will need to pack that on. You can probably blend the edges a little bit, but you really don't want to blend a neon. You won't get the same vibrancy that you see in the pan if you do. I can do a whole video on that if you guys want to see something like that. I also wanted to show off my highlighter today. This came from a indie brand. This is Lele Posh Cosmetics, and this is her Biohazard palette. This retails for $40 if she has any left. There's all neon mattes here, and then these are your shimmer shades. This is the one I'm using as a highlight. It's called Save Me. See if I can zoom in on that. Anyway guys, let's get into this tutorial because that's why you came here. If you want to see me do like a video with like 4 or 5 or 6 different looks with the Conspiracy palette, leave me a comment about that down below. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Please give this video a big thumbs up. Share it if you want to. That always helps me out. And if you hit that bell, you'll get notifications anytime I post new videos. Alright guys, let's head into the tutorial. Alright guys, as with all videos, I'm going to prime my eyes. I like to use the ColourPop concealer in the color Fair, which is a white color. I prefer to use white because it really helps any of the colors bounce and get the most pigment payoff. But, you know, use whatever you prefer. Then we're going to go in with an e.l.f. shadow brush. It's just one of their cheap dollar brushes that you can pick up at Target. And we are going to pick up the color Not a Fact. And we're going to place that in our crease and just above it. Now, if you've watched other of my makeup videos, you'll know that my eye shapes are both different. And I have a piece of bone that kind of sticks out on the edge of each. So I have to work with that. Once you find your eye shape, it'll be pretty easy to go ahead and place the colors where they will be seen, whether your eye is open or closed. Once I start packing some color on, I will blend a little bit. But to get the most pigment, I always like to pack first. And using that same brush and not picking up any more product, I am going to soften that edge just by doing small circles all the way around. At this point, I always like to look straight ahead in the mirror, and with my eye open, I like to see where that color ends because I want to make sure it is seen. This is where that hard piece of bone sticks out a bit much, so I got to make sure that the color is up on there. So I'm going to pack a little more and then blend again. I'm now going to pick up an e.l.f. crease brush. It's the same brush, it's just a bit smaller, and I'm going to pick up the color Pigment, and I'm going to buff out Not a Fact with that. That way it looks like we blended Not a Fact right straight to the gods. Now when you're blending the crap out of that eye, you may lose a little bit of pigment from the first shade you put down. So I just like to go back in a little bit and add a little bit of that color in, and in this case it is Not a Fact. For the outer V, I like to take a flat-headed squared brush. This is from Jaclyn Hill's holiday collection. I have no idea what the name of it is. It's wiped off. And I'm going to take my rides here and add in some black on that corner, and then we're going to buff that out. We're going to take a Morphe M507 to blend that black out. I've used a lot of blacks, and just from touching it, that one spot on my eye, that was some pigmented black. But anyway, we're just going to blend that into the crease a little bit, just kind of making a V shape in that corner. And this is just to give the look some depth and some shadow. You know your girl loves a good cut crease, so I'm going to take my favorite concealer from ColourPop. I'm going to pop a little on my hand because you will pick up some of that pigment from the eyeshadow. And I'm going to pick up my favorite brush, the Morphe M421. It's a nice flat-headed brush. It's great for cut creases. I just lay some of that in the middle of my eye. Then I'm going to look up, and you can kind of see where it transferred. That's how high I gotta go. I usually go a smidge over that line. And once we get to the edge, we're going to take our finger and just go right over that white line so it's not so harsh. Now with a Morphe M167, we are going to get some setting spray and spray that so our glitter, I shouldn't say glitter, our metallic color will kind of stick better. And we picked up Trisha, such a pretty pink. We are going to cover a good part of the eye where we cut the crease with this color. Make sure you just leave a little bit of the edge towards the inner corner so that we can put a little bit of a blending color in there. And just with any flathead brush that's smaller because you're trying to work in the inner corner, go ahead and spray that with some setting spray as well, and pick up the color Ranch. And then just place that a little bit over Trisha and then right down into the inner corner, and that'll just leave this nice little blend. See, that looks pretty. I ended up throwing some under my brow just for a little bit of a highlight there as well. It's just a really pretty shimmer color. I like it. I wasn't liking where the black and the pink kind of met, so I'm just adding a little bit of black in that area, and then I'm just going to go back and buff that out because it's so dark. So it may take a few minutes, but just keep pushing in circles and it'll end up buffing out. Now that I've finished my face makeup, we'll finish the bottom of the eyes. I'm just going to use a black liner to put in my waterline. Then taking some of my rides here, we're just going to go right up against the lower lash line. Next, we'll be taking Not a Fact and just going right around the bottom of the eye and connecting that to that outer V. And then you guessed it, we're going to pick up some pigment and go right around, and connect it to the upper part of pigment. Now grabbing a Morphe M321 brush, we are going to pick up Diet Cola. And we're going to use that as an inner highlight in the corner of our eye. Again, a nice pretty shade. You could use Ranch here instead, but because I put it on the lid, I wanted to put something different for the inner corner highlight.
Right through on a wing, we popped on some lashes. Sorry, I have no idea where I got these lashes from, but they are on and they are good to go. What do we think of this look? I love it. Here are a couple of quick stills for you. Leave me a comment down below if you like this look and if you want to see more looks using the Conspiracy palette. I will have a video soon for the mini controversy.